Throughout history, monarchies have held a significant grip on power, ruling over nations with an iron fist. But have you ever wondered why these ancient institutions gradually disappeared from the world stage? Well, let's delve into the intriguing tale of how monarchies faded into history. To start our journey, we must travel back to a time when monarchies reigned supreme. These royal families held the ultimate authority, their power often passed down from generation to generation. Kings and queens, emperors and empresses, ruled with absolute control, their words law and their decisions unquestionable. The people, living in kingdoms and empires, were subjects expected to obey the monarchy's will. As the world rapidly progressed, the Age of Enlightenment brought forth new ideas and philosophies that challenged the divine right of monarchies. Thinkers such as John Locke and Montesquieu argued for a new system, one in which power was shared and governed by the people themselves. Democracy began to take shape as the concept of representative government gained popularity. This seismic shift in thinking sent shockwaves throughout the world, as the oppressed masses began questioning the very foundations of their societies. They yearned for more freedom and a say in how their countries were run. The seeds of rebellion were sown, and the winds of change began to blow. As the people found their voices, they rose up against the absolute rule of monarchies. Revolutions erupted across the globe, fueled by the desire for equality, justice, and individual rights. The American Revolution in the late 18th century paved the way for a new type of government, one where the power rested in the hands of the people. The monarchies of Europe watched with trepidation as the United States of America thrived under this newfound democracy. Inspired by the American example, the people of France launched their own revolution, toppling the monarchy that had ruled with an iron fist. King Louis XVI and his queen, Marie Antoinette, were dethroned, and the French Republic was born. The revolution sent shockwaves throughout Europe, igniting a chain reaction of uprisings. In the early 19th century, the Napoleonic Wars prompted more monarchies to crumble. Napoleon Bonaparte, a military genius and charismatic leader, sought to expand his empire across Europe. He vanquished the monarchies he encountered along the way, replacing them with his own rule. However, his defeat at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815 led to the restoration of the monarchies he had overthrown, albeit with diminished power. As the 19th century progressed, the Industrial Revolution brought about sweeping social and economic changes. The rise of urbanization, capitalism, and the middle class began to shift the power dynamics within society. The old feudal system that had supported the monarchies for centuries started to crumble as the rich and powerful bourgeoisie demanded more say in government affairs. Fast forward to the early 20th century, and two devastating world wars shook the world to its core. Monarchies found themselves entangled in conflicts that demanded tremendous sacrifices from their citizens. The harsh realities of war shattered the public's faith in their ruling families. They began to question the legitimacy of monarchies, particularly as they witnessed the rise of republics. With the fall of the Russian Empire and the rise of the Soviet Union, communism became a viable alternative to the monarchy. The Bolshevik Revolution in 1917, led by Vladimir Lenin, eradicated the long-standing Romanov dynasty, marking the first time in history that a communist government emerged. This event sent shockwaves across the globe, cementing the decline of monarchies. After World War II, the wave of decolonization swept through Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean. Formerly colonized nations were now free to determine their own destinies, and most opted for a republican form of government. Monarchies slowly became symbols of the colonial past, and newly independent countries sought to establish their own identities. In the modern era, only a handful of monarchies remain. Many have evolved into constitutional monarchies, where the monarch's powers are limited and benign. They serve primarily as symbolic figures, representing their nation's history and heritage. So, why did monarchies disappear? The answer lies in the evolution of society, the rise of democratic ideals, and the desire for greater individual freedoms. Monarchies could not withstand the winds of change brought about by revolutions, social upheavals, and the quest for self-determination. While they may still exist in a diminished form today, their days of absolute rule are but a distant memory.